Swamiji, we can see you. We can't hear you, Swamiji, but we can see you. Someone can confirm if they can listen to Swamiji. Can Swamiji hear song?
Not yet.
Okay. Swamiji, can you rejoin because we can't hear you?
Okay. Now, would my camera please?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now, but the camera is.
I'm standing on my ear.
Yes, I can hear
Now
you.
I'm
I can see
standing.
you now.
You can't. Am I standing in the right place? I'm
No,
facing the wrong.
it's opposite.
How's that?
It's ulta, Swamiji.
Ulta.
Yeah. Now it's perfect.
Oh, good. And can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You can hear and you can see. And hello, everybody. Namaste. Now I'll do my real job and get in front of on the other side of the camera. Wow, sorry about that.
That's okay, Swamiji.
Now,
It's better.
is it
But
better?
we can't see Swamiji. We can't see Shrima.
You can't. Can I go a little higher? Now can you, oops. This is a really funky stand we got here. Okay, let's try again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's better.
Can you see Ma?
Yeah, we can see Ma.
Can you hear her? Say something. Hello, my child.
Hi.
Yeah, we
Mother,
can
please
hear her.
cooperate.
Hi.
Say more than hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
How are you? All right, we'll do the best we can. Yeah. Sam Saraswati Namaha, Namaste. And in this session, we're discussing a story about the divine play from the book Shrima, Living with the Soul. And we're starting on page 112. I think God might be a little prejudiced. For once, he asked me to join him on a walk through this world, and we gazed into every heart on this earth, and I noticed he lingered a bit longer before any face that was weeping, and before any eyes that were laughing. And sometimes when we passed a soul in worship, God too would kneel down. I've come to learn God adores her creation. St. Francis of Assisi. Shrima, devoid of any traces of individual self, embodies universal self and adores God's creation and loves everyone. She responds differently to different people depending on their spiritual maturity and material desires. Her actions are different ways to teach people and remind them they are gods who have forgotten who they really are. She is always a kind mother to all. Sometimes she plays with her devotees, sometimes she tests. Sometimes she challenges, other times she fulfills their deepest desires. The purpose that motivates everything she does is to wake people up so they can realize their greatest potential. Srima picked up the story after the Dakshineshwar Homa. I went to many different places spreading love. It was heaven. During that time, Gautam, one of my devotees, was begging me to initiate him, but I wasn't giving initiation at that time in my life. He insisted, Mother, you have to give me initiation. I said, listen, under Thakur, until Thakur tells me to, I can't give initiation. Go to Belur Moth and take initiation there. That's my place also. He was such a naughty boy, you know. Generally at midday, I did arati behind closed doors, and nobody could stay in my temple then. One day, I was doing arati, and suddenly Gautam snuck up and touched my feet. At that time, nobody could touch my body. Here in America, I gave up lots of things because of the culture. In India, I never did puja in front of people. When I did puja, my door was always closed. Swamiji told me we have to show people how to be divine. In India, I didn't even eat in front of people. If people came to me for darshan and they had a certain kind of stone or for an astrological remedy, I wouldn't give darshan until they took it off. I felt that if instead of praying to God, they wore a stone, it showed a lack of faith in God. Those are the people who come with different rings, with different birthstones and gemstones, because they want to put the planets in place. And instead of coming with God, empty your vessel and receive the grace of God. After being here 10 years, I went back to India, and there were thousands of people crying. For 5 days they cried, "Why has our mother changed?" Now I don't tell anybody I'm coming to India, just a few devotees. It's very hard for me because so many people cry because they don't want me to leave. Me too. In Delhi, they brought guards for me. Nowadays, if I go, I may stay 7 days and just see a few devotees that I call when I get there. So you can see that when Gautam touched my feet, it was a big deal. I started spinning. I didn't know where I was. I was spinning, and I fell down. And after I fell down, I couldn't walk by myself anymore. I couldn't walk for 1 month, so I stayed in bed. There were so many doctors and nurses who were devotees, and they couldn't find anything wrong. They couldn't do anything. Gautam was crying. He gave up his job. He was constantly coming to see me and crying. A young girl was doing seva to me all the time. Her name was Borna, and she was 14 years old and very pure. On a new moon day, I told her, that's Amavasya, I told her, if you can spend 24 hours without drinking 1 drop of water, then you can touch my body while reciting mantra. She was so sweet. She didn't drink 1 drop of water, and then she touched my body with devotion, and while she recited mantra, and the next day I could walk. God was giving a teaching. When you really love God, like the young girl did, your selfish desires go away. At that time, you are God. You and I are not separate. Do you understand? On the other hand, Gautam acted selfishly, and God showed him who I was. Gautam had his own selfish desires, and because of the demands he was making on me, God showed him that form. Krishna went to Dhritarashtra's court to make peace and prevent a war. Krishna said, "We don't want to fight. Please give back the kingdom of Indraprastha to Yudhisthira, and we won't have a war." Duryodhana told him, "I will never give back Indraprastha." The second time Krishna came, he said, "Okay, if you won't give back Indraprastha," that was the name of the kingdom, "then give just 5 villages." But Duryodhana wouldn't even give 5 villages. Then Krishna showed his Vishwarup, his divine form. But Duryodhana continued to insult Krishna. He said, "Kick this cowherd out." And Krishna showed his real form, and it didn't affect Duryodhana. Because of his impurity, he couldn't see Krishna's form. There were 4 pure people there who saw it. The impure people saw only light, which made them blind. This is true also in our relationship. Everybody has some kind of Duryodhana nature. selfish desire. Every individual has selfish desires, which make them unhappy and prevents them from seeing divinity. A poor devotee's desire is fulfilled. I stayed in Kolkata for a long time. I had so many devotees there, and I started teaching puja from house to house. It was an incredible time. I would tell a devotee, chant the Ramayana for 24 hours, and they did, how devoted they were. In the evening, devotees came and sang for me. Sometimes they sang all night long, and then they went to their jobs in the morning. When I was in Samadhi, they meditated with me and never moved. They forgot their children. They forgot their families. I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and everyone was meditating. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. At that house one day, a servant watched me and bowed down to me from far away. She was thinking, Mother goes to so many places and so many people come to see Mother. I wish Mother would go to my house, but I am very poor. Mother would never come to my house. The next day, I told Bona, I would like to go to that woman's house, but in secret. Don't tell anybody. She told me, Mother, she isn't home. Why would you like to go now? And I said, laughing, because that's the time I need to go, when she isn't home. Bona took me to the maidservant's house. She lived in the servants' quarters and had 5 children. When we went to her house, there was a 3-year-old baby at home. First, I went to her kitchen and I touched the food and ate a little bit. I did it to make her happy because I blessed the food and made it prasad. Later, when the maidservant came home in the evening, she went to the kitchen and saw some of the food had been eaten. She wondered, what happened? The next day, she asked Bona, you know, my son told me somebody came to my house and ate food. We don't know who it was. Bona told her, meditate and think about who came to your house. You will find out. But she still couldn't figure it out. After 1 week, she discovered that I went there and she cried and cried. Her elder son was a rickshawwala, and she told me he should be present all the time to take me here and there. How devoted. The sewer man. Every day that I would go out, another man would bow down to me from far away. He cleaned the sewage system. In India, he was an untouchable. One day he was standing with many other people in a field, and I walked up to him. He was eating betel leaves, and I took some betel from his mouth, and I started to chew. He cried. I hugged him, and all the people started to cry. He became a great devotee. It changed his life because at that moment he realized that God has no caste, that God is the universe. Love has no caste. God has no caste. Everything is God's creation. This sewer man, the maidservant, their pure love was calling me. When pure love is calling God, God is present every time. Pure love can touch God very quickly. Sri Uma wanted to include here the following story that Ramakrishna liked to tell. There were 2 friends who met while walking along a path. They came to a temple where spiritual dialogues were taking place. One friend said, "Come, my friend, let us hear the word of God." His friend looked surprised and declined, saying that he had a date with a prostitute. And thus the two friends parted, one to visit the temple and the other to enjoy himself with his lady friend. But after a short time of sexual dalliance, the one man said to himself, "My friend is sitting in the temple listening to the word of God while I'm indulging my sexual desires. Certainly I'm a fool." At the time, the friend who was sitting in the temple listening to spiritual talks thought to himself, "Why am I a fool? My friend is enjoying the company of that prostitute while I'm listening to these dull speeches." When death came, the man who was with the prostitute but yearned for God went directly to heaven. God doesn't look at where you are, but at what quality of mind you have when you are there. God receives the expressions of the heart. God acts differently according to the time and place. For example, Krishna acted a certain way when he was baby Gopal. When he was older and living with Yashoda, he acted differently. When he came back to Mathura, he was different again. He acted differently each time for a particular purpose. This is our play. One can't say Mother is a divine being. Why isn't she doing the same things Krishna did? You had a question when you first met me. You were confused. You thought, she says this in a funny way, and I know she's joking with me. She looks like a simple woman. She doesn't feel like a guru. You saw only one part of me. You had a thought about how a guru should act. You didn't see the whole universe. This is human life. Sankaracharya was a great pundit. One day he took a bath in the Ganges, and as he was coming back, he saw a dirty man with many dogs in his path. He said, as Srimad speaks loudly, impersonating Shankaracharya, "Hey, get out from my way." The man said, "Oh, you think I'm untouchable? You give so many lectures about Vedanta, and still the soul is untouchable? If I touch you, will you be untouchable?" Then Shankaracharya said to himself, "Yes, he's making sense. Why, what am I doing?" Then that dirty man changed his form and became Shiv. We have time for one more story. On page 118, a new devotee is tested. I was visiting many devotees and making temples in their homes, like I'm doing in America, like she's doing all over the world. One day, a lady wanted to see me. She was a head nurse in a hospital and a worldly woman. She heard from somebody that Mother came and she wanted to see me, but whatever day she came, I locked the door. I would not give her darshan. Because she didn't have a true feeling inside, she was just curious. On the first day when I kept her out, the gate was locked, and when she left, she felt a little bit of devotion, a little desire was created. When she came the next day and the door was locked, I was inside, intuitively working with her. She came a third day, and I still didn't give her darshan. On the fourth day, I went to her house with Mona. I knew she was working and it wasn't there. Oh my God, her house was really dirty. There was no altar there, no God there. The Pope was sitting on a little dirty shelf. I know I would see that. We cleaned the room and made a beautiful altar. We set up everything and left. The lady came back from her job and was so surprised. What happened? Who came? And she said to the maidservant, "Did you do this?" And the servant said, "No, no. A woman come and she came and she did it." The lady asked, "Which woman?" The servant said, "I don't know," laughing. "I thought she was a relative." She thought about this day after day. Finally, she came to see me, and my gate was closed again. I was watching her. Within 2 weeks, she changed completely. On the next full moon day, she knew the altar had been created by me. She had been praying for that. Then she came, and at the time I gave her darshan, and she became a great devotee. And that devotee's name is Purnima. After she met me, she didn't want to leave. I stayed at her house a long time. We had satsangs at her house, and the whole hospital staff, doctors, nurses, workers, all started to come to see me. With Purnima, I was traveling a lot in India. Purnima worked for the railway, and I had a first class ticket as her mother, laughing. I am her mother, and I went to India. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. And here we'll pause our session on page 119, and we'll pick up in our next session, Go to Madurai. Is the name of the story. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we will be traveling tomorrow, and so we won't have any a meeting tomorrow. But by the next day, we hope to be able to inform you that we found a good place to settle, and we're all set up and ready to meet you again and continue the story. Also, we're going to be trying for a special sankalpa, so we're looking for a special environment in a certain temple that's conducive to the type of puja that we wish to do. We'll see you all in a day or two. Namaste.
प्रणाम स्वामी जी, प्रणाम माँ।
Pranam.
Pranam
Namaste,
Swamiji.
Harish.
Namaste, Sema. Namaste, Swamiji.
Sema. Let's see if we can
Pranam,
turn the
Sema.
camera this time. Oh, camera. There she is. There's Sri Ma.
प्रणाम माँ।
Namaste. Jai Ma.
जय
Jai
माँ।
Pranam.
Jai Ma.
Boom,
Thanks
boom.
everybody for joining us. And we're going to do our tea now, and then we're going to finish packing to begin our journey tomorrow. Please, everybody send traveling blessings. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
प्रणाम।
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
जय माँ।
Jai Ma.
How are you, Pallavi?